And what they did, what they begin to woo the fellas, try to, who can pull to our side and so on. And then that's how the George Odlum, Peter Josie, and so on. That's how they went into the Labour Party, and they really make a difference in the Labour Party. I mean, they are responsible for everything that happened to the Labour Party today. Is as a result of that. Okay. So they went in there with from a position of strength, and not necessarily, they didn't ask to join them as no. They went there. When they get there, they actually influence the direction that the party took. They brought in this guy because George and them, they were accusing them of being communists. You remember that?
You can point on, you can buy
Now the mistake that happened at that time, although it was, the mistake at that time was that they brought in Alan Lucia to head the party. And Alan, because he was a judge and so on and so on, as for respectability. But that's a mistake. In a revolution, don't give any couch potato to come around and then take over leadership of something that they don't understand. Especially
kill the momentum.
Right, So and they brought him as leader of the party, and which should never happen. Which should actually never happen. But who was the people who were doing the mobilization around the country? It's George and them. So after they won and they made their deals and that kind of thing. In fact, Lucia promised that he would not. He was there to ensure that the party wins, but he would give up the position of prime minister after 6 months. The 6 months came, he didn't do it, and it's not. He was influence, He was outside influence that actually caused Lucia to say, "Oh, don't give it," because you have Grenada, the Grenada Revolution had taken place, and you don't want the Americans didn't want the two communist leaning people in the Caribbean, especially somebody like George was so who had so much influence in terms of his oratorial capacity. It was very, very thing at that time. And so they fought and were able to break the Labour Party, the government of the Labour Party. What came afterwards? After George, then that fella came. What's his name? After Julian Hunt became the, and Julian Hunt kept the party going for and he was able to win so many seats and so on. So it didn't come back to what it was before on the counter. It was literally on the counter.
It seems like he was able to keep things together, have a few seats here and there. But there's a threshold he was just not able to penetrate.
And it was pretty close. And it was pretty close. And
it was 9-8 or something.
9-8 and 7 something and so on. Now now they try to diminish that guy, Julian Hunt, because Julian Hunt didn't have they say he didn't have GCE. You see how nasty
but he was doing his job well.
He was, he's a very articulate guy. I mean, he's very good. Just like this guy, Stephen King. He's a very good. He articulates very well.
He's one of the best,
Right.
Stephen King, yeah.
But but then the St. Lucian have a mentality that if you don't have a degree, then you are no matter how well you perform, it doesn't matter. It's just you don't have the degree. Anyway, so Then they found out that they need to replace Julian Hunt with a doctor, and that was Kenny Anthony. Okay, and it was when Kenny Anthony came. That's the time that they really unseat Compton in a very dramatic way.
They never unseat Compton, they unseat Von Lewis.
Von Lewis, yeah. Compton saw the writing on the wall. So what he did is he sort of gave way to but all the time there were negotiation. They were negotiating with Georgia. You didn't know that, right? They were negotiating with Georgia to take over the United Workers Party. Yeah. Oh yeah. All the time. You know. There were negotiating going on. You know, but certain principles George would not agree to, because George is a person of the people. Yeah. And you always feel that whatever situation that you're in, you are, as a politician, you have to better the life of the people. Now, there were some people in the Chamber of Commerce, like Bristol and these guys, they were opposed to George becoming the leader of the United Workers Party.
Okay. Because Bristol and them fellows, I heard that these people are some of the stalwarts or whatever.
Right. They were opposed. Most of people in the Chamber of Commerce and so on, they were opposed. They were saying George is a communist or blah 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 and so on and so on. They don't mind him representing St. Lucia at the United Nations because he did a great job at the United Nations, but but when they took Von Lewis and just put him there, now George said that he that is rudeness. You can't take somebody from anywhere, and I mean, he found that was an insult to the people, the intelligence of the people of the country. And say to take somebody who has no connection with the people and put him there, and call an election to confirm his so what George wanted the United Nations just resigned from the United Nations as ambassador, and he ran against Von Lewis in Central Castries in a by-election. Von Lewis won, but George got enough votes. It got a lot of votes. I mean, it didn't win by a lot, And George stayed on the ground. When he left the job and he stayed on the ground. Even a friend of mine from Grenada, Franklin Harvey, he says, why did George leave the United Nations and then go and run for the election? But that was a matter of principle. He said the money is okay, the money is all right, but but George was a different person, and then he stayed on the ground, continuing on his paper. But you realize when Kenny came, they couldn't leave him out. They just could not leave him out. They couldn't leave him out there. They brought in another person, just catapult the person, but Kenny had connection with the Labour Party before. But then they couldn't leave George out. Now the problem, I was talking to that fella from he visited Canada once, and we were talking. What's his name? He's from Soufrière. Samoji. Yeah, Samoji, but Samoji told me that the election thing was going on in St. Lucia. And the Labour Party was thinking about what to do with George. And Samoji told me that.
Well, George was a problem too. Like it was a soft foot for them.
Right,
what to do with George?
And he told me that George is too good for himself. Because even to the extent that where he talks, in the party, can you allow George and Kenny Anthony I mean, that's some would.
Yeah.
Can you allow George and Kenny Anthony on a platform where, okay, Kenny Anthony is the leader, but can you, at what point would he talk? Yeah. Does he talk last? Because normally the leader talk last. Or George talk last. If George talk last, then automatically you see George as the leader. So, but if George talk before Kenny Anthony,
you don't want to hear nothing.
You would have heard that. Yeah. So what they did is that they had to split the country into two. Okay, George take care of the Castries Basin, and Kenny take care of the South. Okay, so they are not on the same platform. Okay, and that's the way they resolve the issue. so I'm telling you all this. We have to say that when you go into a situation, go from a position of your strength. Because you don't want people to diminish you or disarm you to the point where in the next so many years, in a few years, they don't even know you exist.
Because they'll try to